So I just bought my wife this ProForm 710E elliptical. She used it for the first time today. I bought it used, but it's in excellent condition. I think the newer model of this that they sell in stores is the 720E. The older one, the 710E, as far as I can tell, is mechanically about the same. So my wife complained that the resistance, even on its lowest setting, you can see here, resistance level 1, was still a little bit too tough for her. So my wife's a petite lady. She's maybe 120 pounds and like 5'3". So I started messing around with this thing to see if I could get the resistance down a little bit lower just by mechanically adjusting something inside on this flywheel assembly. So what I did is I first popped off the cover, and I'll show you on this side how it works. I just took a small flathead screwdriver, put it in this little gap right here, and just with a little bit of a pull, you can see it pops right out. Pull it all the way off so you can see what's inside of it. You'll see that there are 3 screws, 1, 2, 3, that can be removed, and then this outer flywheel cover pops off as well. So going over here to the other side where I've already pulled it off, before you get the outer flywheel cover off, you have to take this bar, which mounts up here. You got to pull it off, and it just comes out with one little screw, as you can see right here. So pretty simple. I think it's a 5mm hex wrench. So I started playing around with this thing, and this apparatus down here is the resistance assembly. So it's a metal flywheel with a magnet on the inside of it, and this little plastic piece right here, the further it moves up, the closer it gets to that metal flywheel, and the more magnetic pull it gives on it, which increases the resistance feeling as you're using the elliptical. This right here, the resistance is set on level 1, so this plastic piece right here is down as far as it can go. And I'll adjust it real quick, and you can see that plastic piece is moving up. And then when you reduce it back down to level 1, that plastic piece moves back down. So what I did is I pulled off this little zip tie right here, just cut it off with a razor. And this shiny metal piece right here, I took this part right here and turned it a couple of turns just to slide it down a little bit. So a 5/16 inch spanner wrench right here. I just took it, attached it to that thing right there, took it a couple of turns back, and then tightened that lock bolt right there on top of it. And what it did is manually moved this plastic piece down, in essence, further away from this flywheel, so it should theoretically reduce the resistance as you're using the elliptical. You can only back this off so far before it falls off the threads, so there is a limit. But as far as I can tell, when this thing, that plastic piece there, is on resistance level 1, it's almost touching the top of this little metal piece right here. So that's about as far off as you can back it anyway, and it's still pretty secure on the threads right here. So that's how you do it. That reduces the resistance feeling on the lowest setting for a ProForm 710E elliptical, and I would expect many other ellipticals that are constructed in the same way. So I'll put it all back together and report back to let you know. You can see I've got everything put back together now. Everything went back together easy as could be. And I'll tell you, the piece that I was showing you to adjust that was down inside the flywheel, when I adjusted it, it was probably about 2 full turns that I adjusted. And I got on this thing just now, and 2 turns was more than enough to make a huge difference on this thing. What level 2 or 3 felt like before the adjustment now is about what level 12 or 13 feels like. So I think I did, like I said, 2 full turns is what I did, which may be a little bit much depending on your intended outcome. But yeah, you can get in there and mess with it. Your results may vary, but it's done the trick for this thing for me.